So tell me who you are.
My name's Stote Reeder.
What year did you go to high school, and where did you go to high school?
I went to Sullivan High School in Sullivan, Illinois from 89 to 93.
What sports did you play in high school?
All of them. Baseball, football, basketball. I ended up not playing my senior year of baseball, but basically lettered all the other years in all those other sports.
Talk about your high school sports career in general.
I've had a pretty good one. I might be the only Sullivan player to be all-state in both football and basketball. I had a pretty good basketball career. We had a pretty good team. My senior year, we were 25-2, got upset in the regional final. But overall, I had a pretty enjoyable high school career.
Talk about your teammates and your coaches.
Coach Turner, Ted Turner, was my high school coach. He moved on to Clinton High School 2 years after I graduated, or the year after, one or the other. Great coach. To this day, still stay in touch with him. He comes to a game every year. Unfortunately, we're probably on a 4-game losing streak with him in the gym. And, when I was a senior, we had just 3 seniors that were on the team. I was the only senior starter. But I played with a lot of good players. We just, the following year after I graduated, when they had a load of seniors finally and all that experience, they made it to the Sweet 16. So we were just a year away back when I played.
Talk about some of the teams and players that you played against in high school.
Oh man, against Sean Taylor, who's the head coach at Moline now. He was at Quincy. He won a state championship at Shelbyville. He was at St. Teresa back when I played, and he had guys like Rodney Walker, who played some professional basketball, and St. Teresa was always kind of our rival, I'd say. But Warrensburg was always good, and Monticello was good. But our main rival back when I was in school was Arthur. We had a pretty fierce rivalry.
What were some of your favorite gyms in high school?
Casey Westfield, no question.
Casey?
Yeah, I always had good games there, but it was just such a cool gym. And they had a really good team. They had Tony Rodriguez and Aaron Justice. Those guys were good, but we were able to beat them every time we played them, and I happened to get 30 plus each time we played them too. So,
and any stories you'd like to add during your high school career?
Oh, when I think back to high school, and I as a coach now, I have lots of good memories of my teachers and so on, but all of my memories come back to high school sports, and the kids I'm still in touch with are usually my teammates, or were my teammates, and I have a lot of fond memories growing up in Sullivan, and I thought it was pretty cool. My brother was the head coach there for however many years he was.
Talk about some of the awards that you got in high school.
I guess I was all conference in football, junior and senior year. Basketball, same. I was the OCOP Player of the Year as a senior, and I was third team IBCA All-State as a senior basketball player.
After high school, where'd you go to college?
Eureka College.
Who recruited you?
Dave Darnell. He could sell what's the saying? He could sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. I went to basketball camp at Eureka and wasn't too impressed with the campus. So Coach Darnell sold me on it. He got his current players to call me. There rarely went a day where a Eureka player or coach didn't get in touch with me back then.
Talk about some of the teams and players that you played against.
Well, we won the national championship when I was a freshman. We had a guy named Chris Eaton, who was the National Player of the Year. Troy Tyler, who was I want to say a second team or first team All-American, and the all-time leading scorer in our school's history. Chris Peterson won the national tournament MVP. And we had a guy named Dwayne Schmedeke from Morrisonville, Illinois, that shot about 60% from 3. So we had a great team. They were all seniors. And throughout my college career, we played against, certainly guys probably unheard of by people in this area. But Mark Davidson is one that stands out, who played at Illinois, transferred to Trinity Christian or Trinity International, one or the other. And so we got to play against him a couple of years. But some of the best times of my life playing college hoops.
Hey, some of your favorite facilities in college in which you played?
Oh boy. Clark College in Dubuque, Illinois, or Iowa, had what was brand new in 1995 or 6. Now it's kind of a cookie cutter gym, but back then we thought it was pretty cool. The Shirk Center at Illinois Wesleyan was built right around the time I was a junior or senior, which is still a state-of-the-art arena. And then there was like old places like when we played down here in Lindenwood, it looked like an old hockey rink. And now you go to Lindenwood and it's this beautiful Division II arena. And Rose-Hulman had a airplane hangar is what the gym looked like. And they'd shoot off a cannon when they'd take the floor before while you're warming up. And we were always out on the floor first. And each year, the freshman or sophomore class, we only played there once a year or once every other year. But that cannon would go off and it'd scare the hell out of any kid that hadn't been there before. So I remember that pretty fondly.
Any stories in college you like to add before I go into the final question with college-wise?
There's a lot of kids, as a coach now for 22, 23 years, whatever it's been, there's a lot of kids that if they're not getting recruited to play scholarship basketball at Division II or Division III, they think they're too good for that. They don't think it's Division III college basketball. NAIA is extremely high-level basketball. You think about the best player on any team, any given team may not be good enough to play at a Division III school. So just to be able to further your career and play basketball, and trust me, it helps in getting jobs when you're done, much more so than your grades do. And I've had a few players go to Rose-Hulman now, engineering school, but they play sports there too. Well, their tickets are written.
Talk about ending your college career. What are some of the awards that you received in college?
I was a first-team all-conference player. I led our conference in scoring when I was a senior. I ended up number 9 maybe in scoring, just under 1,300 points, number 9 in assists all-time at Eureka. And in 2007, I got inducted into the Eureka College Hall of Fame. So I'm pretty proud of my college career.
At what age did you become interested in sports?
Oh, what age, man. Well, my mom was a music teacher growing up. So when I was in probably kindergarten is when I'd start hanging out in the gym after school because my mom would have to stick around. And I can remember in 2nd or 3rd grade, I guess it was 3rd grade, we were in a school called Low School, which is only a couple blocks from my house. And it was a big old dungeon of a gym. It was one of my favorite gyms, and she would stay after school till 4:30, and I'd just be in there shooting constantly. And basketball was my first love, but Dad used to pitch to me with wiffle balls like any other dad, and I really liked golf when I was a young kid too. I wish I'd gotten a little bit better at that, but I was pretty young.
Since you played, how has the game changed?
Oh man, the high school game especially has changed because even since I started coaching in the late '90s, but in the early '90s, if you wanted to watch film on another team, you first of all probably had to get into a phone book, look up the other coach's phone number, and call him, and then he'd have to be willing to give you the VHS tape, or maybe even beta tape. When I started coaching, it was still on VHS, and then it turned to those mini DV tapes, and then we started doing DVDs, and now it's evolved to online huddle and that stuff. So the scouting and the defense being played these days is nowhere near back then. It was nowhere near where it is today. Coaches just have such a massive advantage now as opposed to back then. And then, of course, I shot a lot of threes in high school, but not a lot of people did. I don't know when the three-point line was introduced. I want to say it was 86. But it still was just kind of a fad, I guess. And I made 90-some threes, I think, when I was a senior, which was quite a bit. But, there's kids hitting 120, 130 threes these days. I mean, like T-Town this year, they made more threes, I think, than our team attempted on this year. So those two aspects of the game have made a huge difference.
What advice would you give to today's youth about playing sports?
Play them all. I've got 3 kids, 13, 12, and 8. This virus pandemic break that we're on has kept our kids from playing sports, and my wife and I are thrilled to have the time at home now and to be with our kids and be with each other as much as we are. But we had all of their practices and their games on our Apple calendars, and we get notifications every night of what we would have been doing, and it was all kids sports. And that's the way our family loves it. Our kids love it. I mean, they're in the gym today shooting. They have an advantage during this that they can still get into a gym, but I just play them all and keep playing them all until you can't play them all anymore.
What has sports done to change your life?
Oh man, I mean, it gave me the career I'm in. I probably wouldn't be a teacher if it wasn't for basketball. I don't know what I'd be doing. I chose math because I was good at it, and it was more marketable than PE. But I always wanted to coach. I did at one time think I'd be a college coach, but now I'm 44 and a wife and 3 kids, and I wouldn't be able to afford to go back into those and take a low-paying job and lose all the retirement I've been in. But I mean, it made me the person I am, the coaching I got. I was just talking the other day about Coach Turner and, being the only senior starter on that team when I was in high school. If a young kid screwed up, I got my butt chewed. And that was him showing the team, first of all, that if I can get on the best player, then nobody's safe. And 2, it showed everybody who the leader was. And I was able to take it. It made me tougher. And sometimes I don't think my kids like it because that's the way I parent and coach these to this day. But it really made me who I am. So
apparently, like what you're saying, teaching-wise is your current occupation. How long have you been at Jerseyville now? And as far as the coaching job, how long have you been doing that?
This is my 15th year at Jerseyville, both math teacher and coach. It's my 22nd overall. I was 3 years at Sullivan. I was actually my brother's coach and math teacher. Then 4 years at Flanagan. Took a year off, and I came down here to SIUE and got my master's, and now 15 years here at Jerseyville.
What was it like coaching against your brother, Chet, this past February at T-Town Shootout?
Well, it was the 5th time we played each other. We did it 4 times when he was at Sullivan. One of those 4 games was close. They were kind of a mismatch. We were by far the better team. This year was a little different story. We lost a starter early in that game, and that's never fun. But I don't know. I enjoy coaching in that game because I get to see family and friends from Sullivan that I normally wouldn't see, and they can see our teams play. It's not one of my favorite games by any means because one of us has to lose. He's in the pressure cooker at T-Town now, and I really wanted to make the post game difficult on him. We just couldn't get it done that particular night. They were coming off a real disappointing loss that Tuesday and got 3 days of prep, whereas we came off a real disappointing loss the night before. But you can't use any injuries as an excuse because he had a starter out that game too. So it's always fun looking back on it. In the moment, it doesn't matter. I don't think about who's over there, but leading up to the game, I just hate it.
Before the last question, you saw some of your friends like Drew Decker, a couple of your friends. Mm-hmm. What did that mean to you coming back into the area for that night?
Oh yeah, I mean there were family and friends from Sullivan that I knew were coming, and it always means a lot when those people come. But when Andrew Decker walked in the door and I saw him, he played for me 4 years at Flanagan, and I had forgotten he was even in the area. And for him to show up, that was really special. Those Flanagan kids were my first head coaching job. I came in, we weren't very good at start, and then we went 26-6 when Andrew was a junior my 3rd year, and 20-10 my senior or his last year. And that was just a special place to coach. The people there, to this day, if I go back to Flanagan, people would treat me well. and the kids there just, you won't find kids quite like Flanagan kids because it's just such a small town. I think probably in my 4 years I coached 3 or 4 kids that didn't live on a farm. So having Andrew show up to that game, that was pretty special.
Is there anything else you'd like to share, Stote?
Oh man, no, just, I mean, you asked for how long I've been at Jerseyville, and just to think it's been 15 years there. When I took the job, I was single with no kids, and 6 months later I was married to my wife, who's from Jerseyville, Dawn, and by Thanksgiving of my second year, we had Avery, our first daughter. I thought I'd be at Jerseyville 2 or 3 years, and barring something tragic or dramatic, I guess I'll finish my career there and probably retire there, and my kids call it home, and it's been my wife's home forever. And now 15 years later, I've almost lived there longer than I lived in Sullivan. So it's I really love being there. It's the kids play hard, they work hard. I get treated really well by the community and by the administration. So yeah, it's just a cool place.
Stote, thank you for talking to me today.
You bet, Tyler. Thanks.
Appreciate it.